So today is Friday, 4th of October, 2024. It's just around 60 minutes to 3. A cool, blustery Friday afternoon. It's around 10 to 3 degrees. And I'll just be making a short, quick video. So I think it was yesterday morning, the Guyanese Critic video. As my header says, the Guyanese Critic is probably thinking of quitting. He's contemplating quitting the show, as you will see in a short video that I'll be showing you. As you know, the Realest thing coming out of Guyana has a lot of stuff going on. There was that video where a lot of blood and that kind of stuff was running down his face. And then allegations were made left, right, and center. He came on his show and he made his allegations. Then there was a young man that was on the Travis Chase show making his allegations too. It's also confusing. I guess the people who were there, the people who were in that club, they are the only ones who can probably come forward and in public and state what they saw. Because as it is right now, the critics speaking one thing, the guy that was interviewed by Travis Chase, they say something else, like something does add up. A lot of stuff doesn't make sense here to me. So, as I'm on that subject, two things came to me. In fact, two thoughts came to me. You do not see self-professed billionaires going to certain nightclubs. You do not see self-professed billionaires, especially going on YouTube and even Facebook, kicking up a storm. At least not in Guyana. I know a lot of PP supporters would not like where I'm going. But as far as I'm concerned, those two thoughts that came to me, those two thoughts are facts, they're irrefutable. You wouldn't see the billionaires in Guyana doing certain things what the Guyanese Critic do, especially going to those places that he frequents. But then on the other hand, it's like people say you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. Especially when you see you grew up in poverty and then you are a billionaire overnight. In the Guyana situation, the social elites, whether they were born with a silver spoon or whether they acquire a silver spoon via education or whatever vices, a lot of them would feel entitled to privileges. And what you would find is that a lot of them would not welcome some of us who profess to be billionaires. They wouldn't welcome us openly with open arms. That's the way it is, especially if they realize that you grew up in poverty, you came from the gutter. They will say that you're not cut from the same cloth, especially if you don't have the educational background like them. What I'm saying is that if you have any doubts as to what I'm saying here, just speak to one Fred Kissoon, who speaks about the Banato class, the this class, the that class. Yes, I'm certain Uncle Freddy is going to break it down for you. Yes, the class system in Guyana is well and kicking. After this short clip with the Critic, I'll be coming to some news that's going on here in New York. Stand by.
When do we know? How do you know when to quit? It's a lot's been on my mind, and sometimes if I'm not told or it's not brought to my attention by the people around me, I get caught up in and things. So recently, a few days ago, an advisor of mine called me and went on a long lecture. What do you think I should do, or what he hopes I do? He hopes I'll forget about the Rickford Burks and the smelly smells. And yesterday again, I had one such instance with someone who's looking from the outside and realized I could do better, or wants me to do better, and they advise me on something. I don't always see things, and that's the problem. You can't know what you don't know. If you don't open your mind and look at things from a different perspective, and I've learned sometimes when people are telling you things, you just listen. Don't answer, just listen. If you listen, because it could eat up at you what they're saying, because you don't want to hear that. But if you listen and allow it for soaking, and you give the 10 seconds and you listen, and then it makes sense, and you can't. When do you quit? My mom is in the hospital. Praying for the best. I've got court matters with the Mohammeds. Today at 9 o'clock, the trial between myself and Simona Brooms is starting. I've got multiple things going on in my life. Every day is different. Regular issues that come up with projects that I have. There's so much that has to be done at TBN that is not being done. Better could be done. We could do more. The companies that want to do programs with us have been reached out to by Netflix. There's so much going on. And then I sit down and I ask myself, is this me? Is this what I want for my life? Is this how I'm going to live the rest of my life? You got the Brian Posad issue just come up. You got Rickford Burke suing. You got Mark Benchcap suing. And all of that's bullshit, by the way. But nonetheless, it's out there in public. You're looking at the comments, people hating that. My mother has waited 31 years to get a house lot. 31 years. Recently she went to housing and we get the documentation to pay for the house lot. She has been allocated a house lot. 31 years. Never harmed a fly. She waited 31 years. There are people that are crying, Critic, I need a house lot, and they didn't apply yet. My mother waited 31 years. Now she's sick in the hospital. Possibly going through an end-of-life situation. And I ask myself, do I want to be out here fighting with people, or I want to spend the best quality time that I can with my mom, make sure she gets the best treatment, make sure she see that what she gave birth to was worth the while. I'm sharing this with you because I got most of my life together. And I see a lot of things. As a thinker, you see a lot of things. You think about a lot of things. But up until last...
Yeah, so I decided to take up that challenge by one Fred Kassoon in Guyana, who was saying that a lot of us living overseas, we like to speak on Guyana, but you don't hear us speaking about issues where we're living. So I said I'm going to break that trend. We had a situation where the longshore, or as back in Guyana, you would see the stevedores on strike from Tuesday. That strike has been called off. We have 2 barrels to post to Guyana for the Christmas. But I was telling my wife I heard from a Jamaican colleague when I was at work last Monday. He said, man, he wants to post his barrel to Jamaica for the Christmas holidays, but with the strike that is going on, it's not going to reach Jamaica. So I came home and told my wife, I said, you know what? It looks as though these 2 barrels you have here, unless we post them by air, they're not going to reach Guyana. So even though the strike has been called off, the union had been calling for a 7% increase for over the next 6 years. The shipping industry group had offered a 50% increase, but now they have agreed to pay a 62% increase for over the next 6 years. The workers are supposed to resume work tomorrow, but full turn is expected next week. According to the Port Authority, New York and New Jersey, that's 25,000 workers involved to move 35,000 containers. But remember, the International Longshore Association represents about 50,000 of these workers. A top dock worker right now earns about $39 per hour. So at the end of this 6 years contract, that $39 is supposed to shoot up to $63 per hour. So this agreement was signed between the International Longshore Association and United States Maritime Alliance. That's a group that is representing these shipping employees. So I just want to make a quick thing with this a paper that I usually get at Key Foods. This paper is printed weekly. The Courier Sun. I also have the Queen's Chronicle. It's free for people of my age. I remember when I went back to Guyana, I was giving the papers lady $200 to buy a kaiju in a Starbucks, and she knew I was living out. She said, "No, sir, that time is long gone. $100 more." I said, "What?" But so this is the Courier Sun here. The Courier Sun, the front page. The Courier Sun. This paper looks out for places like Jamaica, Ozone Park, Richmond Hill, and a number of other areas. I just want to make a quick heading. These are some politicians here. They're saying shame on the Department of Transportation. They're against these scooters. If you look at the bottom, when you travel in certain parts, you see these scooters are parked in almost every block. Some of them are standing straight, some of them are lying down. And some of these politicians, they're disgusted. And they want these scooters to be removed. Of course, there are mostly young people who use these scooters to travel from point A to point B. So let's move on. The Animal and Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, they'll be opening a new clinic in Long Island. Let's move on. The Congressman Gregory Meeks, apparently it's his birthday, and he's been getting some birthday greetings. That's how these congressmen lobby. These people who paid for by friends for Gregory Meeks, those are the people who are going to fund his election campaign. As we all know, Eric Adams is still in hot water. Yes, he's been indicted, but he's still the mayor, unlike what someone told Guyanese Critic. He's not in the prisons. The governor, Kathy Hochul, said that the mayor is going to continue his job until the courts probably make a decision. So let's move on. The picture of the 2 female doctors, Rockaway doctors, strengthening community ties through local conditions. Let's move on with this paper. A number of advertisements here. Of course, a lot of these advertisements, I guess, are very expensive. This is War and Crime. This part, page 12, it gives you a police blotter in terms of a summary of crimes covered by the Police Department in New York. Sicko spits and gropes screen student, steps away from school. Woman charged with stabbing husband to death during dispute. Creep sought for targeting young girls on board the Q58 bus. And what I like about these is that they have a photograph for each story. There's a photograph of the person. Those photographs, the source are the numerous video cameras all over, and that's how you see they're able to reproduce these photographs in the papers. The mayor announced a joint NYPD and Department of Sanitation Ghostbusters task force to remove illegal ghost cars from city streets. So I wanted to understand what they meant by ghost cars. According to Deputy Mayor Phil Banks, and I think Phil Banks, who's Deputy Mayor to Adams, he's going to be stepping down too. His phones were confiscated by the FBI. He's reportedly stepping down. If the mayor has to step down, of course, the deputy mayor resigning, then Jomani Williams, the public advocate, he automatically will be taking over the new, at least in a temporary situation if it arises, as the acting mayor for New York, Jomani Williams. Yes, coming back to ghost cars, according to Deputy Mayor Philip Banks, ghost cars are illegal cars with license plates that are either fake, missing, altered, obstructed, or fraudulent. Banks said that many ghost cars are tied to criminal activity, including robberies and shootings. So that's when I realized for the first time what they meant by ghost cars. So it's about ensuring public safety. Council member Ong leads charge in to tackle unlicensed vending in Flushing. Flushing is an area here in Queens, and apparently there's an influx. There's a couple people are complaining about vendors outside different places, like whether Demico and the banks and these different places in Guyana. There's an influx of people vending unauthorized. So the council member, along with other representatives from these different departments, they took a walk in Flushing to discuss the persistent issue of unlicensed vending in downtown Flushing. The meeting commenced at the busy intersection of 30th Avenue and Main Street. The group proceeded south along Main Street, stopping at Municipal Lot 2 and 30th Avenue to examine areas where unlicensed food vendors store their goods on public property. Voter registration deadline is October 26th. Here's what you need to do. So I would not be going to the place in polling place to vote. I went online and I applied for a mail-in ballot. And sometime last week I received my mail-in ballots. All I have to do is to shade the circles around the names that I would like to represent me here, whether it's Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. I just have to shade the names and then put my ballot in a special envelope and my name and my address and the date, and then just drop it in the nearest post box. So that's what you call early voting by mail ballot. Thank God I have managed to acquire that. So, should New York City schools ban cell phones? A survey shows teachers will support it with conditions. And that's another story there. Would there be a support of banning cell phones in Guyana? I leave that for you to judge. So, I'm going to bring this to an end. As I said, it's a short video. I have some stuff to do. And I hope most of you enjoy your Friday evenings or your Friday afternoons until next week.